Do-bin's mother instructed him to introduce his friend to Uncle Jung Ji-hun, to which he happily complied. He told Uncle Ji-hun that his friend came to visit. Do-bin's mother reiterated that the little girl was a friend of her son. Looking at the cute Yena, he thought she must be Do-bin's girlfriend, since Do-bin said he fell in love at first sight. Looking at the kids, he thought all kids are beautiful. Meanwhile, Park Sung-yu was walking dreadfully alone outside, thinking of what his wife instructed him to do, that he should work overtime and go home late since Yena will be over. She doesn't want him to bother the kids who are having fun. Being alone made him think of Jung Ji-hun, who was not that affectionate, but he always drank with him. Suddenly, he felt his phone buzzing. The moment he turned on his phone, his wife shouted on the other line for him to hurry home ASAP. Confused, Park Sung-yu asked if Yena had already left. His wife replied, "No, it's an emergency." Jung Ji-hun went over to their house, and the news shocked him, speechless. Back at Park Sung-yu's house, Do-bin walked towards Jung Ji-hun while holding the baduk set and asked if Uncle Jung Ji-hun knew how to play budak. Ji-hun replied that he knows. The excited Do-bin asked anxiously if Jung Ji-hun can play budak with him, and can Uncle let him win? Jung Ji-hun scooted over to the middle, sitting across from Do-bin. He asked, how does Do-bin know how to play budak? Do-bin stated that he attended a budak academy. Before they started, Yena walked over. Do-bin, wanting to show off his budak skill, asked Yena to look at him. He will show her how he plays budak. Yena went over and sat next to Do-bin. Do-bin asked Uncle Ji-hun to go first, but Yena stated it's not right. The black side should play first. Do-bin then quickly retracted that he knew of that and proceeded to place a black stone on the board. Ju-hun looked at the kids, smiling at how much effort Do-bin spent on impressing the little girl. After some time, several stones were already in play on the board. Do-bin thought about it before grabbing a stone. As his hand was heading in a direction, Yena stated, "That's not the right way. He should block the way out instead." This confused him even more. As he was about to place the stone on the wrong spot again, Yena, who couldn't stand to watch, stopped Do-bin's hand not to put the stone on the board yet. She told him to look at him. She then pointed her finger at several areas on the board as she explained, "You should place it here. Then Uncle will place his here. Then you put yours here." Do-bin finally got it and replied, "Aha." Ji-hun smiled and thought, this kid knows how to play budak. He pointed to a spot on the board and asked, "But what if I put this here?" Yena pondered for a brief moment and then moved the black stone to a spot, which shocked Ji-hun. If she's the same age as Do-bin, isn't she 6-year-old? How can a 6-year-old do this? Just then, Do-bin's mother brought some fruit snacks, stating happily that Yena is good. She's so proud of Yena. Ji-hun asked, "Your name is Yena?" "Yes," Yena replied. Ji-hun asked, "Who did she learn budak from?" Yena answered, "From the teacher." Ji-hun asked, "Not your dad, but your teacher?" Yena stated that she has no dad. Ji-hun felt bad for asking that. He shouldn't have said it. Do-bin turned to look at Yena and asked, "Then should he give her his dad?" Yena declined and stated, "No, it's all right, ahum." A noise interrupted the group. Do-bin shouted, "That's Dad," followed by Do-bin's cute little sister yelling, "Daddy?" Both kids ran up to their dad. Park Sung-yu asked uninterestingly, why was Ji-hun here? Ji-hun stated that he came to see Sung-yu. Then he told Yena that he should stop there, and she can play with Do-bin. Yena then got up and abruptly asked, "When will Uncle come back again?" He asked, "Why?" She replied that it was fun. "So will he come tomorrow?" Ji-hun said he has work tomorrow. Yena asked, "Then next Monday?" He replied, he will also be busy that day. Yena, being persistent, asked, "Then what about next Monday?" She grabbed the hem of his shirt and asked again, "Or next Monday? Let's play budak again." Not sure what to do as she looked very eager to play budak with him, he agreed. "All right, let's play again." Yena's face beamed with joy thinking. 3 weeks later, Monday. Ji-hun walked out of the living room and told Yena he will see her next time, thinking that kids forget things quickly, so it'll be all right. He wasn't going to commit, just making promises thinking it wouldn't matter. Outside, Sung-yu and Ji-hun walked on the sidewalk talking. Sung-yu stated he cannot stay for too long since he's busy. Ji-hun answered that he knew. The two remained silent as they kept walking. Just as they passed the red light walkway, Jong-ho crossed the walkway to the same area they had just passed. She rushed hurriedly to Park Sung-yu's apartment. She rang the doorbell and Do-bin's mother, Jin Seo, came to open the door. The two mothers greeted each other at the door and Jin Seo invited Jong-ho in. Yena rushed to her mother as she shouted happily, "Mommy," several times. Yena was equally excited to see her Princess Yena. Mother and daughter hugged each other. Yena told Jin Seo that it must be hard for her. Jin Seo replied that it was not hard at all. Thanks to Yena, her Do-bin became more mature. So, she really liked Yena. Jong-ho can let Yena come there every day. Then she turned to Do-bin and asked if Do-bin would also like that. Do-bin didn't hesitate to agree with her mother. Yes, of course. Yena, let's live together at my house. Jin Seo held back her embarrassment and muttered, "Park Do-bin. That's too much." The two mothers shared an awkward laughing moment. As the mother-daughter duo walked back home, Jong-ho asked Yena if she had fun. Yena answered cheerfully, "Yeah." Jong-ho asked, "What was it that was fun?" Yena answered that it is a secret. Jong-ho asked, "A secret? Even from me?" Yena wanted to make sure her mother gets the schedule ahead. She told her mother, "Mom, next Monday, I must come to Do-bin's house, okay? I can go there again, right?" After taking a sip of beer, Ji-hun apologized to Park Sung-yu. Sung-yu crossed his arms and asked nonchalantly, "Why are you sorry?" Ji-hun answered, "He's sorry for being so harsh on Park Sung-yu." Sung-yu tried to hold back his emotion and asked, "Do you really think I'm on your mother's side?" Ji-hun replied, "No, he doesn't." Sung-yu, still being hurt, humphed. Ji-hun stated, "He was serious." Sung-yu replied, "Fine, but he's still very upset about that." Does Ji-hun think he can always be sure when he uses his feelings? No. Even when Ji-hun just uses a tiny bit of it, it can hurt people. He then crossed his arms again and pouted, thinking, of course, Ji-hun doesn't know why he was so upset. 7 years ago, the Jung Ji-hun before the accident had bright eyes. He smiled a lot and was more affectionate than he is now. But because of the accident 7 years ago, he lost his friend. Ji-hun looks cool and composed on the outside, but he knew that something was coiling up within Ji-hun. In this summer season, it feels like he's the only one still stuck in winter. He wanted to get Ji-hun out of there, but there was no way for him to do that. So he can only stay by his side, as always. That's why he sincerely hopes that Ji-hun can be happy. He hoped that Ji-hun's winter would end. Park Sung-yu then confessed, Ji-hun is a part of his life. Not his whole life, but a part of it. He then scratched his head and said, "Anyway, thanks for looking for me. I'm also sorry for saying harsh words to you. But what made you think of visiting me at my house?" A faint smile appeared on Ji-hun's face as he thought of his encounter with Jong-ho in the elevator. What she said to him then, that he should try his best to have a conversation with his friend. If he cannot meet the friend, shouldn't he go to find his friend? Isn't his friend precious? Ji-hun then answered to Sung-yu, "Because you're precious to me." Sung-yu humphed as they shared an awkward moment. A brand new day, Ji-hun walked into the office. He heard some noises and looked through the office glass. On the other side of the glass, he saw Jong-ho chatting with another colleague. Ki-hoon praised Jong-ho that she really put in a lot of effort taking notes. Jong-ho replied that she just wrote it down as she was thinking. Ki-hoon praised that Jong-ho is the best out of all the copywriters he had seen so far. He acknowledged her. Jong-ho chuckled and stated that he kept on praising her no matter what she did. They were so engrossed in their conversation that they didn't notice a person had entered the room. Ahem. The noise interrupted the two. Ki-hoon stood up and greeted, "Hello, director." Ji-hun asked, "When will the meeting start?" Ki-hoon stated it will start in 10 more minutes. Ji-hun walked across the table and asked Song Ki-hoon to please print out last week's meeting record. Ki-hoon got up and left, and then Ji-hun came and sat next to Jong-ho. Once he sat down, he thanked Jong-ho. Thanks to her advice, he reconciled with his friend. Thinking back, she asked Ji-hun, "Isn't he your precious friend? You cannot cut a precious ribbon with scissors just because there's a knot in it. You should untie it." Jong-ho remembered. "Ah yes, that's good to know." Though in hindsight, she was actually saying that to herself. If only she looked even harder for him. If only she didn't give up. If only she didn't lose faith so quickly and trusted him more, then Would they be living a different life by now? As she was lost in thoughts of the what if, Ji-hun told her, if she misses her father, then she can go over. Sorry? She asked. Ji-hun reasoned. Didn't she say that he looked like her father? He's fine with it. So she can go to look at him sometimes. Jong-ho responded. Look at your face? Ji-hun asked if she doesn't want to. He was saying that for her sake. Unable to explain the lame excuse she said to him, she answered, ha ha ha, all right. She's thankful to him for mentioning it. Then, Ki-hoon came back with some papers, telling Ji-hun that he brought the printed meeting record. Ji-hun looked displeased. That's fast. He did it so quickly. Ki-hoon answered, not knowing that Ji-hun wanted more alone time with Jong-ho, answered proudly. Yes. The conference room is filled with people. The meeting started. One person said that she hoped everyone could give their ideas. If they gather their opinions, they can fix their proposal. Cha-eun-bae stated she should go first. People in their 20s and 30s tend to be physically healthy, but tired mentally. Ji-hun kept flipping the pencil on his hand, next to Jong-ho, distracting her. He's not focused. Is he usually this easily distracted? She thought. Then the pencil slipped his fingers and fell to the ground, landing right between their two chairs. While all this was happening, Cha-eun-bae continued with her idea. They have a lot of things they want to do, but they have to follow others' orders first. So their performance in their office declines, and they feel exhausted on their way home. They also get jealous when they see lovey-dovey couples in the park. Then once they reach their house, the first thing they look for is not food, but beer. They will think, this is why I keep working. Across from Cha-eun-bae, the pen rolled towards Jong-ho's feet. She thought, this guy dropped it on purpose. He's telling me to pick it up for him. She sighed and then crouched down to the floor, reaching for the pen. As Jong-ho's fingers were about to touch the pen, a large hand hovered over her hand. Ji-hun was already kneeling behind her, with almost zero proximity, reaching for the pen as well. This startled Jong-ho. She quickly got up and sat back on the chair thinking, what's this? She's sure he didn't do it on purpose, but Cha-eun-bae is sitting right over there. At the same time, Cha-eun-bae was wrapping up with her idea. She thought of two catchphrases, which are singles need beer, and this is the taste of youth. The key word is healing. That's all. The manager commented that her idea was nice. But isn't it too plain? Healing also seems too passive. A man answered, there were also audiovisual issues. First of all, the standard beer advertisement features young models in a pub, enjoying a refreshing beer. Will it be okay to break away from this? Isn't it risky? Jong-ho added. What about people seeing a pub full of youngsters drinking from a TV? But is it really that noisy? Now that she thinks about it, the overall noise level is lowered, and the advertisement focuses on the sound of drinking beer. People actually also drink beer peacefully in their living room while watching a movie alone. People thought that sounded nice. They hope that the customers don't feel sad or miserable while they're drinking. Ki-hoon gave Jong-ho a thumbs up as her ideas got nice praises from the team, while Cha-eun-bae looked solemn as if she lost to Jong-ho, who was now smiling brightly. In the female bathroom, Cha-eun-bae looked upset, thinking that Jung Ji-hun was acting strange. Thinking back to the atmosphere at that time was weird too. And also at today's meeting. And also the note on Lee Jong-ho's desk was strange too. The Jung Ji-hun she knew was not that kind of person. He's a man who used to be so distant from women that others doubted his sexuality. Moreover, why does it have to be Lee Jong-ho? A woman then entered the bathroom. Manager, is something bothering you? Cha-eun-bae replied in a huff. No. The red-headed woman egged her. What's the matter? You can just tell me. Cha-eun-bae then tells the woman to keep this to herself. It's a secret. The red-headed woman readily agreed. Of course. She is talking about the deputy Lee Jong-ho from Team 2. The new copywriter was actually her high school classmate. The red-headed woman asked, were the two close? Cha-eun-bae stated, honestly, Jong-ho has a difficult family situation. That's why she tried to be nice to her. But as they got closer, Jong-ho is the kind of person that takes things without permission and uses them. The kind of people who try to copy other people's things just because it looks good. The red-headed woman exaggerated. Oh my, is that true? She didn't perceive Jong-ho to be that kind of person. Wow. She's so shocked. Did Zhang-O change her habit now? Chai Yunbei huffed like she's exhausted from Zhang-O's behavior. She doesn't know if it's just because she feels uneasy. But, to tell the truth, Zhang-O often visits Ji-hun Appa often. Personally, well, she doesn't know about it. She probably has a lot of things to consult about. The red-headed woman cried. Oh my, that's ridiculous. She should know her place. How dare she covet someone? She will keep an eye on Zhang-O for Chai Yunbei. After the conversation, Zhang-O's manager Miran walked out of the stall. She heard the entire conversation. As she walked out, the red-headed woman exclaimed, "What should I do?" Team leader Sung Miran got divorced from her husband because he had an affair with a colleague. Will Deputy Lee Zhang-O end up being hated by her? While Chai Yunbei smirked with a satisfied look. Side note, I swear, the author better make Chai Yunbei suffer grave consequences for being a chronic liar. At home, Zhang-O was braiding her daughter's hair while her thoughts drifted about work. The atmosphere at work has been strange for a few days now. In Production Team 1, everyone has been giving her cold, silent stare. Even team leader Sung Miran is also giving her the cold shoulder stare. Did she do something wrong? She couldn't think of anything that she had done. Then Yena interrupted Zhang-O's thoughts. Mom, there's only a week left. Huh. Zhang-O was confused. Yena stated cheerfully, don't you know what day next Thursday is? Zhang-O thought, how could I not know? I cannot believe my daughter is already 6 years old. Flashback to baby Yena at birth in the hospital. Yena, who was born before the due time, had to be hospitalized for another week because of cyanosis. There was another strange thing. Her forehead is so red as if it was burned. Why is it? The doctor told her that it was a birthmark. It is common in newborns and usually disappears within a year after birth. Zhang-O parted Yena's bangs to look at the birthmark that was said to disappear a year after birth, but it is still the same. In another place, the birthmark is called an angel's kiss. That story seems to be true because her Yena has made this world feel like a paradise. The baby was so pretty that the angel kissed her. Zhang-O asked, what does Yena want on her birthday? Yena replied happily, a birthday party. Zhang-O hugged her daughter. Jung Ji-hun, our child's 6th-year-old birthday is coming up. At Mac's planning, the red-headed woman asked Zhang-O unpleasantly, did Zhang-O hear about the emergency company dinner with Dawn Liquor today? Zhang-O stated she didn't hear that. The red-headed woman scolded. Could you please try to listen to what's going around you? The advertiser is coming. They want to have a company dinner with the production team. But the AE in charge of it is on a business trip, and we all have other work. I would like the assistant manager, who is free, to find a place for the company dinner and provide some assistance. Zhang-O replied that she will do that, since it's true that she is free. In the past, she would have avoided anything like entertaining advertisers at all costs, but she's been through it, so it's fine now. She had 5 years of experience as an office worker. As she walked away, she thought, what delicious food should she eat? Not long after Zhang-O left, Ji-hun walked into the department and didn't see Zhang-O at her cubicle. He asked the red-headed woman, Assistant Manager Cho, that there seems to be no one in Production Team 2. Manager Cho replied flusteredly, that? Assistant Manager Ko and Song went to the printing shoot, and Assistant Manager Zhang-O went to Dawn Liquor's company dinner. Ji-hun confirmed if she already left. Yes, the advertiser said they're coming early. Manager Cho answered. Ji-hun wondered, did a production team staff go to entertain the advertisers alone? Manager Cho reasoned that everyone else has another job. Ji-hun walked away as he spoke on the phone, asking the team leader to send him Assistant Manager Lee Zhang-O's contact information. Outside, it was raining, and the umbrellas were all sold out. Standing outside, trying to hide from the rain, Zhang-O contemplated if she should head back to the office and borrow an umbrella from someone, but it looks like it's light rain. Should she just wait a little bit? Just as Ji-hun finished with his phone call, he spotted Zhang-O through the glass. She couldn't even go that far. Sung-yu approached him with a lucky-go-happy behavior as usual and asked, oh, friend, you have an umbrella? Let's use it together. Ji-hun handed the umbrella to Sung-yu and told him to use it by himself. Sung-yu asked, what about Ji-hun? Ji-hun stated, he will just run. Confused, Sung-yu asked, what was he talking about? They can use it together. Ji-hun refused and told Sung-yu to use it by himself. Instead, Sung-yu should only go out after 3 minutes. Then he took off his suit jacket while Sung-yu looked confused. Outside by the entrance, Ji-hun asked if Jong-oh has an umbrella. Jong-oh was startled that he was suddenly behind her, but she quickly replied, "No, she doesn't have any." He stretched out his suit jacket and stated, then, they should go together. She declined, "No, it's all right," while thinking, "You want me to wear that jacket with you?" Instead, she pointed at the convenience store across the big road that she is going to buy an umbrella over there. He replied, "Then let's use his suit jacket until they get there." Before she could say anything, he urged to go, and with that, she could only go along with him as he shielded her. Thinking what they did is crazy. Watching from the entrance, Sung-yu muttered, "That jerk. He thinks he's shooting a movie. No, do I finally have something to tease him about?" They finally crossed the busy road heading to the store. Jong-oh was shy but remained under his shield. She pointed to the store and stated that she just had to go all the way to the front. As they got inside, she thanked him and told him she would get him an umbrella. Ji-hun ran his fingers through his hair as his skin showed through the wet white shirt and replied, "You're welcome." Jong-oh walked to the counter and saw only one umbrella. She asked the store staff if they had more. He said they have plenty. She bought 2 umbrellas and gave one to Ji-hun while he doesn't seem excited about the umbrella. Standing outside the entrance, he asked if the umbrella was refundable. He has a lot of umbrellas at home. Beside, a yellow duck umbrella. At that, Jong-oh answered, "Then he can just use it today and give it to her later. She doesn't have any at home." A chaebol is a person who carries an umbrella. Ji-hun opened the umbrella and said they should go now. Jong-oh stated that she is going to stop by the firm recommended by Ki-hoon. It's at the intersection. He said they can split there. Jong-oh stated, "All right." If someone criticizes her for choosing the wrong location, can she say it was the director's choice? He told her to do as she wished. Back at the office, Cha Eun-bae asked Manager Cho, "Where is Lee Jong-oh?" Manager Cho said she asked Jong-oh to prepare a dinner party. With her fake behavior. Cha Eun-bae answered, "Oh my, really? There's nothing we can do because everyone is busy," while in hindsight, praised Manager Cho for doing a good job even when Cha Eun-bae didn't ask. She imagined Jong-oh going to be overwhelmed by being forced to drink crazily. Jong-oh will sweat it out alone until the others arrive. The receptionist walked by. Eun-bae asked if the receptionist is getting off work already. Did the director got off work too? The receptionist answered, "Yes." The director said he was going to meet the production team and advertisers. Didn't Eun-bae go with him? Eun-bae's smug feeling a moment ago now shattered. She grabbed her stuff and started running out of the office. Manager Cho asked her to slow down a little. Eun-bae yelled back, "She's running because of what Manager Cho said. How can she just send that copywriter alone to deal with the client?" Portraying herself like she really cares about Jong-oh. But in the back of her mind, she knew Jong-oh was alone with Ji-hun. Nothing seems to be going according to plan. As she arrived, the sight angered her, yet she could only try to hold it in. What she saw, a warm dinner with the advertisers. Jong-oh smiling happily, while Ji-hun's expression warmed as he gazed at her. The scene was nothing like she had imagined earlier. The table was filled with chatter, laughter, and everyone cheered. Eun-bae, who observed from the door, felt angered as the voice of a man ridiculed her. "Cha Eun-bae, can't you do that for one? How many years have you been unable to get a hold of Jung Ji-hun properly?" A flashback of attorney Cha Eun-yeop, her older brother, instructing her, since next year is the general election, Eun-bae should get married before that to put her mind at ease. Even though she's not good at anything, she should at least excel in marriage, right? Eun-bae forced herself to snap out of the conversation and affirmed her resolve. She must marry Jung Ji-hun. That's the only reason she exists. After the dinner, Jong-oh ended up in the convenience store. Feeling better, getting away from there. Everyone was talking a lot. She reached for a drink bottle and Ji-hun came behind her, grabbing the same bottle. He asked if she's scared of going to work tomorrow, and he will buy them. Since he's buying, then she might as well get something expensive to drink. So she switched her drink. After drinking the bottle, he asked if she was okay. She gulped everything down and thanked him for the drink. Ji-hun blushed and asked for her opinion if they caught the advertiser's attention. Then he noticed her about to throw up. Did you drink a lot? He asked. Jong-ho covered her mouth, feeling like throwing up. Ji-hun grabbed his phone while stating he'll take her home. Jong-ho refused his offer and told him not to worry. She can go home by herself. Then she turned around and walked away. Ji-hun looked at her back, just like always. She turned her back on him and left, getting upset over trivial matters. Why is she like that? How can he make her look back? Jong-ho. Lee Jong-ho. She paused her steps. Where do you think you are going? He asked. She turned around and walked back to him. Upon approaching him, she almost clung onto him and asked, "You want something?" Seeing her sad, longing expression looking up to him. What's with the reaction? It was just a joke. What should he do? Nervous, he stated. Look at this. It looks like she's really drunk. He told her to come to her senses. Lee Jong-ho. He knew he looked like her late father, and she sees him as her father. But right now, she shouldn't treat him as one. Jong-ho stepped back abruptly, asking if he was serious. He told her to go home quickly if she's that drunk, and he will take her home. She was upset, and so while he was occupied, calling for a ride, she got into a taxi and left him hanging. When he looked up, calling for her name, she was nowhere to be found. The next day, Jong-ho was having breakfast. Her mother scolded her that she looked like a toad. How can she drink so much that her eyes ended up like that? At the same time, her mind was elsewhere. If only Jung Ji-hun hadn't said that. She told her mother that she drank in moderation. Her mother sighed. Sure, she must have drunk that moderation too. Jong-ho said that Yena will hear them. Yena was still sleeping, cutely in the bedroom. Her mother answered. She has no shame in front of her daughter. Gosh. Instead of feeling hungover, she feels like she caught a cold. It rained yesterday. Her mother told to take a day off and just rest. Jong-ho picked up her plates and stated how could she take a sick leave when it hasn't been that long since she started working there. Tomorrow is also the weekend, so she can just endure it for a day. Jong-ho walked to work, but didn't feel like going in. She shouldn't have acted all strong. Her stubborn head should have listened to her mother. Jung Ji-hun was already at work, waiting in the entrance lounge. He looked at his watch to see what time. He spotted Jong-ho coming through the door, holding her forehead. She thought, what kind of villain is going to show up today? She don't know anymore. Let's just avoid Jung Ji-hun today. But her head hurts. Ahem. Assistant manager, Lee Jong-ho. The villain called from behind, which startled her. When did he appear? Yesterday. Did you? Before he could finish, she was already gone, mingling with the crowd. While avoiding him in the crowd, she huffed. What's this? He's acting like he's been waiting for her. He also doesn't look like he's in a good condition. He's just making her worry. What? Is he going to apologize? The people in the elevator noticed the director was on the same elevator. They all moved over to Jong-ho's side, suffocating her. She felt uncomfortable and couldn't breathe. When the elevator door finally opened at floor 29, she realized she couldn't get out. She tried moving through the crowds, but everyone was blocking her way, making it impossible to get out before the door closes. She reached out her arms and tried shouting, but her voice was not loud enough. Before the door closed, a large hand clasped her hand and pulled her out through the crowd. She landed in front of Ji-hun's stern chest briefly before pulling her hands away. He asked if she was hurt. She doesn't look so good. Jong-ho turned to the side to avoid his gaze and told him that she was fine. He asked if she was hungover. Angered, she looked at him and replied, "It's a cold." She walked away and glanced back fuming. There is nothing she likes about him. It's stupid of her to think he's going to apologize. That pent-up anger made her head hurt more. She should stop thinking useless things and wake up. She already has so many things to do. Ki-hoon greeted her upon arriving at his cubicle. He handed her bag and umbrella to her. He did as she asked him to do yesterday. He doesn't know what's so urgent that she would leave her bag. Jong-ho thanked Ki-hoon for his help. Ki-hoon gave her a thumbs up. He praised her for working so hard. She smiled and tried to work. But as time went by, she started to feel worse, making it hard for her to work. Then someone asked, "Assistant manager, are you all right? She should at least drink this," handing the bottle to her. Miran stated, "She doesn't look so well. She had a hard time yesterday." Ki-hoon thought her hangover must be bad. Jong-ho replied that she is fine and thanked them for worrying. Somehow, her cold is getting worse. Then her phone that was next to the keyboard buzzed. It was a message from Jung Ji-hun, asking her to go to his office. She can't help but go to see him. She wondered why he was calling her to his office. Is he finally going to apologize? Arriving in his office, she asked if he called for her. Yes. Take the medicine, since she said that she caught a cold. Next to him was a bag full of a variety of medicines. She declined his gesture. He insisted that she take it. He purposely bought it just for her. Why? Why is he going through trouble to do this? She asked. He instructed her to take the medicine and get better soon, so she can work effectively. Annoyed, he's really making her sick and then giving her medicine. It was not what she hoped for. She felt sad that she didn't even have the power to argue with him. If only her body is in a good condition. Then he draped his large shirt over her shoulder. He said a sick person should wear more layers. She thought, what's this? Why is he? Then she replied, I have my own style. He stated it looks good on her. Ji-hun insisted for her to just wear it and forget the fact that he's the one who gave it to her. He has never even worn that before. Jong-ho clutched the collar of the shirt and stated, she would prefer it if he let her leave early. Ji-hun answered that he will do so. Does she want him to send her home? Jong-ho thought he didn't even mention anything about yesterday and did not apologize. He's only caring about the strangest things. She replied no. She will continue working, and she will take only one kind of medicine. Ji-hun sighed, looking at the rest of the medicines in the bag. He muttered she should have taken more of the medicines. What's so hard about that? During lunch, everyone was chattering about eating their lunch, while Jong-ho put her head on her desk to rest. She reminisced about their past. He can't even remember what happened 7 years ago. The past when he gave his jacket to her to keep her warm. Now he does exactly the same as before. Why would he say the same thing too? While lost in thought of the past, Miran came up to her and asked if she was feeling better. Jong-ho looked up and answered yes, the team leader. She took some medicine, so she's feeling much better. Team leader, Miran, stated that she bought some porridge. They should eat together. As they ate lunch together, Jong-ho thanked the team leader and thanked her for the food too. Team leader Miran answered, yeah, she always enjoys eating with assistant manager Lee. But she wanted to ask assistant manager Lee something. She doesn't know if she can ask Jong-ho about this, but she is quite worried. Jong-ho answered, sure, just ask her. Miran then asked, so then, have you known Director Ji-hun before? This shook Jong-ho. Team leader continues, or perhaps, did she date the director during the time period he forgot? Jong-ho trembled. Even her hands were shaking and was unable to reply. She wanted to say something, but could only utter, I that. Seeing her pale expressions, Miran stopped her. Wait, Jong-ho doesn't have to answer her. She must have her own reasons. She's just worried a bit. It also seems like Jong-ho's facial expression changes when someone talks about Director Ji-hun. There was also that time in front of the elevator. But if she knew him 7 years ago, does she have any intention of telling him? The director is about to get married. She is also working in the same office. Jong-ho replied, she is still not sure. She looked and felt conflicted. Team leader Miran got up from her chair and walked over to Jong-ho. She placed her hand on Jong-ho's back to comfort her. It's all right, assistant manager Lee. Tell me whenever you want to get some drinks. I might not be able to help you solve the problem, but at least I can hear your story. And please don't resign, all right? To the team leader, that's the most important thing. Jong-ho chuckled and answered, of course. After lunch, as the production team came back from their break, chattering, they noticed the director walking in front of them. The older gentleman asked, Director, have you eaten lunch? The director answered, yes. Director asked, by the way, about yesterday, did you assign Team 2 instead of Team 1 for entertaining the client? I heard that you assigned a new employee to entertain our regular advertiser. Cho Sini turned pale upon hearing this. The older gentleman answered nervously, that happened because the assistant manager Cho Sinia was too busy, so she asked for help just until her work was done. Manager Joe Sinnott answered nervously, unable to make eye contact. Yes. I had so much to do, and the deadline are near, so I had no other choice. I understand that you're busy. From now on, make sure this doesn't happen anymore. The older gentleman and manager Cho patted their chest with a big relief. Just as they thought they escaped a catastrophe, Director Jung Ji-hun asked, "Then, can I see the result of the work you did yesterday?" After looking at the work Manager Cho did yesterday, the director felt disappointed. He reprimanded Manager Cho. "You worked so hard, but there's still no result. You should have attended the company dinner instead. Anyways, I understand now about why the client returns the work you did. From now on, Assistant Manager Cho Name must send a report of her work via email at 6 p.m. every day. That's all." After reprimanding Manager Cho, he left, leaving the older gentleman and Manager Cho stunned. Manager Cho cried and turned to Chai Eun-bae. "General Manager, what should I do?" Chai Eun-bae answered with her fake attitude as usual. "It's all right. It's all right. I will talk to Appa." The director Ji-hun walked out of the department and met Jong-oh and the team leader on the way back from lunch. Then Chai Eun-bae came running past them. Jong-oh looked at the back of the two walking away and thought of what Miran told her. The director is about to get married. And you're also working in the same office. That, right, he's about to get married. Let's stop worrying about him. But when she got back to the department, the atmosphere felt off. What's wrong with the atmosphere? She wondered as Manager Cho glared dagger at Jong-oh. Back at Director Ji-hun's office, Chai Eun-bae asked, "Appa, did something bad happen?" Assistant Manager Cho promised to work diligently. If you scold her just because of what happened, she will only become discouraged. Ji-hun did not even look up at her. He continued to look at the file on his desk as if she didn't even exist. Chai Eun-bae, frantically searching for a topic, and something hit her. "Ah, right. Mother talked about marriage. What should I do?" Director Ji-hun answered, "You can take care of it yourself. You know more about my mom than I do, right?" She asked, "Then what about you, Oppa? What do you want to do?" Ji-hun answered, "I'm not that shameless to ask you to do that." Chai Eun-bae gritted her teeth, trying to hold back her anger. "No, I have already been telling so many things to people." She clutched her skirt and asked, "If I decided to get married, what would you do, Oppa?" "Huh." Oppa, trying to look as calm and angelic as she possibly could. Then she felt the atmosphere become tense and saw the cold glare from Director Ji-hun's. "That stare means, you dare?" Without him saying anything, she could understand the meaning of that death glare. Director Ji-hun stated, "Can't you deal with it by just saying a word? Tell Mother that we broke up, even though we never dated in the first place." She stuttered. "Do those words come out of your mouth that easily? I don't understand why it's so hard for you." In a firm voice, he commanded, "I'm busy. Will you get out, please?" Chai Eun-bae can't do anything but have to leave his office. As she walked out, she saw Park Sung-yu coming around the corner. She gritted her teeth as she walked past Sung-yu and unfettered angrily. "Oppa said that he's busy right now." Park Sung-yu smiled and answered, "Ah, really?" and proceeded towards the office. Chai Eun-bae turned around and saw that he did not pay heed to her words. He reached out about to open the director's office door. She shouted, "You're still going in?" Park Sung-yu replied, "I should check on how hard he's working." She shouted frustratingly, "Gosh." Sung-yu let himself inside the office, thinking Ji-hun must have fought with Eun-bae. He's not mad, right? He closed the door and spotted the yellow umbrella on the side of the door. "Huh? What's this?" Grabbing the umbrella, holding it up to show Ji-hun. "What's this umbrella? I don't think you need this. Can I take it home? I'll give it to my daughter." Ji-hun's face lit up like the soft, warm sun ray and answered, "No, that's my. Don't touch it." Leaning on the back of the black couch, Park Sung-yu stated, "You weren't particularly polite to Chai Eun-bae." Director Ji-hun answered, "You can't take it lightly." Sung-yu's memory went back to 7 years ago. While Ji-hun was in a coma, Chai Eun-bae was the one who helped apprehend the hit and run criminal. It is said that she even takes care of Ji-hun's mother. Besides, she's my friend's younger sister, and we all know each other in the family, so we cannot just ignore her. Sung-yu brought his thoughts back to the present and said, "Still, I have to sort it out. If there is someone you really want to date." Ji-hun answered, "It doesn't." Sung-yu replied convincingly, "Okay, If you're not dating, who do you share the umbrella with? No, it's not an umbrella, it's a coat. I saw it yesterday, like filming a movie in public. Ji-hun denied. It's not like that. Sung-yu reasoned with what he saw as he passed by Jong-ho's cubicle. Assistant manager Lee Jong-ho was wearing the clothes I gave you as a gift, isn't she? Feeling a little guilty, Ji-hun answered. Was it the clothes you gave me as a gift? Offended, Sung-yu scolded. What a cold bastard. He crossed his arms and asked, do you still want to deny it? Those are all romantic feelings. Still denying, Ji-hun answered. I have a tasteful look. It's never been like this before. That's why it's annoying. Sung-yu laughed. Ha ha ha. I'm not worried about you getting wet by the rain, but I'm not saying I like it either. I want to be next to you, but I don't like you. It bothers me that you might get hurt, but I don't like you. That's called pure love, my friend. It was as if a light bulb had just went on in Ji-hun's head. His face blushed, listening to Sung-yu's explanation of love. Images of their encounters overlapped Sung-yu's descriptions of love in Ji-hun's mind. He looked at her. Curiosity about her is not that special. It just happens naturally because I'm a man. It's just a sexual desire that is like an appetite. Is it possible for me to be in love with a woman I met for the first time 10 days ago? At the end of the day, Ji-hun and Jong-ho stood in front of the elevator. As they waited for the elevator, Jong-ho stated that she will wash the cardigan and return it to Ji-hun. Ji-hun replied, just give it to him. Since it was a precious gift from a friend, he will take care of the laundry himself. Jong-ho took out the cardigan. All right, she gave him the cardigan, thinking why did he lend it to her when it was so precious? The atmosphere was interrupted when Ki-hoon shouted by the department entrance. The obtuse Ki-hoon walked over to them and asked, oh, director, are you getting off work? Then shifted his attention to ask Jong-ho, assistant manager, I brought my car today. Would you like me to give you a ride? Jong-ho asked, it's Friday evening. Doesn't he have any plans? Ki-hoon answered, the meeting place is near the assistant manager's house. Would she like to go together? While they were conversing, Ji-hun was on his phone. He seemed to be typing, focusing on his phone. Director Ji-hun turned his attention to Ki-hoon and said, the phone seems to be ringing in the office right now, but no one is answering? Ki-hoon diverted his attention back to the department. Is that so? I can't hear very well. Director Ji-hun insisted that he could hear it though. Ki-hoon told Jong-ho to wait a moment while he ran back to answer the phone. After a minute, he came out, feeling embarrassed as he explained. He had to send some materials urgently, so assistant manager should go home first. Jong-ho understood and encouraged him to work hard. The two continued to wait for the elevator. Jong-ho cleared her throat, trying not to cough. Seeing this, Ji-hun covered her with the cardigan. Just wear it and go. It's a precious thing my friend bought me, so make sure to return it on Monday. It's fine too, to return it on the weekend. Jong-ho answered that she understood. Thinking that he's not asking her out on a weekend, right? She questioned herself. At home, Jong-ho looked at her phone, frowning. She received a message with a link for referencing from Ji-hun regarding work. Yena sat on her lap, marking her calendar. She looked at her phone thinking, why is he doing this on a Friday night? He's not telling me to study, right? Then her daughter asked, Mom, look here. There are 6 days left until Yena's birthday. Jong-ho looked at the calendar and replied, all Yena wants to do on her birthday is eat cake with her grandmother and mother. Is that still enough? You must look forward to it, right? Yena's face lit up warmly and replied, yeah, because Mom will be home early. Jong-ho wrapped her hands around Yena, about to give her a kiss, but all she got was air. Yena had already slipped away to go get the baduk board set. She looked towards where Yena was going and thought, I work for my lovely child. Since I'm working, I don't have enough time to show my love. Mom always feels sorry for you, my child. When I see Yena, I get the strength to overcome difficult things. Even though I may look like this, Yena is my only strength to face a boss who sent me a lecture message on a Friday night. Her thought was interrupted when Yena shouted, Mom, you shouldn't put it here, pointing to the baduk board. Baduk is a way to survive. Then Yena moved the stone and explained, there's a good way, and you have to choose the path to survive. Like this. Her thoughts continued as she played baduk with her princess Yena. So, I have to get to the exit. Stepping back doesn't mean running away, because that's how I live. It is right for me to step down from my boss who will soon get married. All I need is Yena. Then I'll just follow the path. After reading the text message, Ji-hun's face soured a bit. The text message he sent on Friday night wasn't read on the weekend. He received a text from her stating she will take a good look. After 3 days. Like that, they sent text messages back and forth on Monday, each sitting on their desk. As he read her message, he could imagine her carrying the file box in cute delivery clothes with a cap. And based on whatever she replied, he could imagine her in the persona. And somehow, he found his imagination of her comical, which led him to laugh by himself. After imagining her and laughing by himself, he sent a message to her. Jong-oh didn't look pleased to see his reply, while Ji-hun, still chuckling, for some reason, he can see all the facial expressions through the text she sent. It was a frustratingly boring time now, but he feels like it's finally starting to flow, looking at his phone like he's in love. Assistant Manager Lee Jong-oh, you're interesting. So much so that I want to keep sitting next to her. And like that, their Monday morning was spent texting back and forth. During the meeting, there was good news. After the last company dinner, an advertiser of Dawn Liquor gave them some opinions. They like all the ideas that were suggested to them. So Dawson Liquor requested they combined all 3 drafts in total. Everyone chattered at the same time. Combine? Combine? How to combine? That's the same as saying to do it all again. And if they combine it, it's only 1. Why are there 3? Manager Cho asked Lee Jong-oh irritatingly. Don't you have anything to say? Jong-oh asked back, what should I say? Putting the blame on Jong-oh, Manager Cho stated, if you didn't mention all this to the advertiser on the company dinner day, I don't think this would have happened, right? Jong-oh said, she only told them what team leader On Chan-seop asked her to inform. On Chan-seop answered, well, it could be. Isn't that great? They figure out the intention that fast. The conference got chatty and loud since everyone had something to ask and say. Finally, Chai Eun-bae pinged the work to Jong-oh. She would like Jong-oh to do the final editing of the draft. Since she talked to advertisers individually the most, her time was limited. Jong-oh knew that Chai Eun-bae was getting back at her. Thursday is Yena's birthday, and she absolutely has to finish it before then. Right, rather than being dragged around, she rather takes the lead. She accepted the task and asked people to cooperate by sending their ideas by email. Everyone readily agreed, and the meeting was adjourned. Chai Eun-bae handed her idea to Jong-oh by email. Jong-oh stated that she wanted it by email. Chai Eun-bae reasoned that if she gave the file to Jong-oh, then she would just copy and paste it without sincerity. So she wanted Jong-oh to study and organized it herself. A senior manager asked Ki-hoon to help them design a plan for them this evening. Ki-hoon was already swamped with work, and since he's the least senior, he couldn't turn down. Jong-oh stepped in to help him speak. She asked if Ki-hoon could work on that next Monday, since Ki-hoon also has a lot of work to do on the team. The senior manager readily agreed for Ki-hoon to work on it next Monday. After everyone left, Ki-hoon thanked Jong-oh. Thanks to her, he survived. Jong-oh stated that he always kept getting called like this, right? He asked how she knew. She reasoned that people who are good at writing plans always get called that. In the hallway, the senior manager met Ji-hun walking his way. Ji-hun asked if the meeting was over. He answered that it had just ended. Ji-hun could hear Jong-oh and Ki-hoon chatting and laughing in the conference room as he approached closer. Jong-oh told Ki-hoon that it's the least cumbersome to do it on Monday when the plan outline is near, so it might be better if he just forget it and pass by. Does he understand? Ki-hoon's face blushed as he stared at Jong-oh explaining to him, Assistant Manager, I have something to say. Just as he was about to proceed, the door swung open and the gloomy Ji-hun entered. Assistant Manager Lee Jong-oh, don't you have something to return back to me? Jong-oh suddenly remembered. That's right. She forgot about the cardigan. She hurriedly ran out. Yes, I'll bring it now. Wait a minute. After she left, Ji-hun followed Jong-oh out, and so did Ki-hoon. She handed the nicely folded cardigan back to Ji-hun and thanked him. Noticing that the cardigan was washed, he told her that she didn't need to wash it. But how was her cold? Jong-oh answered that she was feeling better. Ji-hun answered that he was glad to hear it. As they conversed, Ki-hoon blushed listening to him, feeling like a third wheel. To make sure Ki-hoon couldn't confess, Ji-hun asked Ki-hoon if he could go look at Ki-hoon's design. He would like to look into the outlet design. Ki-hoon could only agree to meet up with Ji-hun regarding his design. After some times, Ki-hoon came back to his cubicles without an ounce of soul. Jong-oh asked if everything was fine. Ki-hoon answered depressingly, haha. Yes, of course. It is. The director is a very meticulous person. He never thought he would receive 2 hours of private tutoring. He showed a battery charge to Jong-oh and explained. When he said he would go back to work because his cell phone battery was running out, the director gave it to him. He thinks the director is really kind. Ha ha ha. Just like that, time flew by, and it was already Wednesday. While on their break, Ki-hoon called out to Jong-oh. She sipped her drink and looked at him. What was he trying to say? Ki-hoon took a few moments before he could finally mutter the courage to confess. He told her that he likes her, though he didn't clarify as if it was the same as colleagues. Jong-oh suggested they sit down to talk. She thought it was just a joke. Ki-hoon stated, no one makes jokes like that. The assistant manager is really pretty, but he thinks she didn't realize it, thus making her more attractive. Jong-oh didn't know how to accept the compliment and couldn't compose herself. No, I'm not. I know about it. Definitely knows. I'm pretty. Seriously, too pretty. Ki-hoon chuckled at the way she stuttered to say something that made sense. Jong-oh still went on finding excuses. No, I'm not pretty. There are wrinkles here. Ki-hoon laughed. Ha ha ha. For me, I just enjoy observing you, assistant manager. The more I look at you, the more attractive and cool you are. So I like you more and more. Anyways, it's a good thing. Jong-oh looked at Ki-hoon, lost for words. Are all kids like this these days? Why is this so unstoppable? Though there was only a 2 years difference. Oh, she's at a loss. What should she do with this innocent young man? She shouldn't hurt anyone, and she shouldn't leave any space to think otherwise. She told him, the truth is, she is already a mother to a child. Dude thought she was lying to him. He told her he's a little hurt right now. Does she hate him that much? She took out her phone and denied. No way. Why should she hate him? It's the truth. Look at the screen. That is her daughter. She didn't adopt her. She gave birth, her real daughter. She doesn't have a husband, but she has a child. And coming Thursday is her daughter's birthday. Ki-hoon looked shocked. He covered his mouth while Jong-oh explained, there are some circumstances. Since she wasn't married, she was recorded as single at the company. She also submitted a copy of her resident registration containing only her personal information. So no one knew. This is her first time talking about this to him at this company. She's telling him this because he is a nice person. She really appreciates him being kind to her, but this is her situation. She will continue to live while protecting her daughter well. She is sorry. Ki-hoon eventually came around from his shock and covered his face in disappointment. Jong-oh patted his back to comfort him. She really supports his love life. He will meet a better person. The next day, bright and early, like 5 a.m. in the morning, Yena jumped on her happily while shouting, Mommy, wake up. Jong-oh muttered, Princess Yena? Mommy, what day is today? Yena asked, full of energy and excitement. Jong-oh turned on her back and hugged Yena onto her arms. It's my princess birthday. Grandma came in a present box and shouted, My little puppy. Happy birthday. Yena told Grandma that she will open the gift later at the party. Later in the evening, Grandma knew that her princess was planning to throw some kind of loud party, but she prepared a table full of breakfast food. The house was decorated with birthday hats and balloons. Yena looked at herself in the mirror, making sure everything looked good. Her hair was tied with a ribbon and she wore a tiara. Feeling satisfied with how she looked, she told Grandma she would be back. Grandma stated that with Princess Yena's hair like that, they both look similar. Side note, isn't Yena adorable or what? They're ready to leave the house, but not without Yena asking her mom to make sure that she has to come home early today. Jong-oh confirmed, she knows. Thus, that day at work, Jong-oh worked like her life depended on it. She was on fire all day, scaring Ki-hoon. As she brazed through her work, she remembered the pinky promise she made with her daughter, to go home early. At Do-bin's house, he held on his necktie and told his mom not to forget his tie. As she helped him button up, She asked if he wanted to fasten all the buttons and tie a tie. He answered firmly yes, because it is Yena's birthday. But, son, will Yena really like the ring? She asked. Dobin answered proudly, yeah, because the ring is pretty. She didn't want to disappoint her son, so she encouraged. Well, all right, because a gift is in the heart of the giver. But is he just giving her a ring only? Dobin answered pridefully, no, there's a letter too. Here. He handed the letter to his mom, who eagerly could not wait to read it. She opened it and read the content. Yena, your eye's like a jewel in it, so let's get married with me later. He drew a red heart at the bottom of the letter. Mom sighed and asked, a ring and a letter. Is there anything else? Dobin thought about the things he planned and told his mom, 3 magic tricks, this Yena's 3-line poem, dog leg dance, and toilet paper flower. The more that came out of Dobin's mouth, the more worried Mother became. She asked, what is this Yena's 3-line poem? Dobin explained, this Yena yi. Yena is pretty. Nah. Me, marry me. Feeling more uncertain, she suggested, son, just do the coin magic and the toilet paper flower. He asked, so what about the 3-line poetry? She negotiated, then, 3-line poem and toilet paper flowers. Disappointed, Dobin said he wanted to do more though. Mom explained, you shouldn't do a lot of individual skills at once, but only do what you're best at little by little. Let's do the rest for Yena's birthday next year, okay? Dobin guessed that he would need to prepare 14 more. Mom asked, why 14? He replied, because I'm going to do it in the next 14 years. She asked, why 14 years? Because I'm going to get married when I'm 20. He answered happily. Mom reasoned, but Dobin, you're not going to do any individual skills after you get married? Huh. I cannot because I have to raise the baby. So it's hard. And he walked away, holding onto the toilet paper flower, leaving his mom speechless in horror. He even thought about children. Yes, raising a child is hard. Still, she will support him. Her son's first love may be beautiful. That afternoon, Jong-oh hummed merrily as she made her way to the elevator where she happened to bump into Ji-hun. But she was in a good mood, so she gave him a happy greeting. He also noticed the light mood in her as well, though he tried to keep a cool face as he greeted her back. She gazed at him warmly. Jung Ji-hun, today is our child's birthday. So I prayed for your happiness today too. Because an angel was born because of you. When Jong-oh arrived at her cubicle, Ki-hoon came to her with a gift. He stated it was for her child's birthday present. Just a hairpin. Jong-oh accepted the gift and thanked Ki-hoon. She is sure her daughter would be happy that a wonderful oppa gave it to her. Ki-hoon laughed and asked, what's with the oppa? Anyways, today. She should do her best today so that she can get home early. Jong-oh laughed and thanked him. While from afar, Ji-hun witnessed them chattering and smiling. She smiled warmly today. Her mood was warm, but his mood and expression was opposite of her. And in the conference room, Jong-oh was having a meeting with manager On Chan-sip about the draft. Suddenly her phone buzzed. The notification screen showed it was from the police station regarding the attempted kidnapping. Jong-oh excused herself to go check her text message for a minute. Assistant manager Cho came in and announced that she got a call from Oo. Is it okay if she forwarded the call to the manager? The manager allowed Jong-oh to go while he took care of the phone call. Jong-oh went to a private area to check on her phone. It was a message regarding some photos taken by CCTV. Looking through the message and the photos, the person was not someone that she knows. She thought of Ji-hun's mother. It's also possible that the mother has someone to approach her daughter. Although the image is a small piece of evidence, she will take what she can. Just when she was done looking at the text message and replying to the policeman, Ki-hoon came up to her and asked what's wrong. Jong-oh told him that she has something to ask him. She showed the photo and asked if he had seen a hat like that. It looks like a brand hat. Ki-hoon stated the photo looked blurry. But wait, it looks like a foreign soccer team's cap. He pulled up the photo on his phone. It looks similar to this one. Jong-oh thanked him that he is a genius because it does look like it. Ki-hoon stated that he can't guarantee that it's the same, but she can make this kind of design in a millinery shop. Just for reference. Jong-oh thanked him for the suggestion. Manager On Chan-sip then called Jong-oh to finish the Dawson's Liquors proposal first. He will print the draft that Assistant Manager Cho sent and show it to the director. Jong Ho stated she will be right there. As she walked back to the conference room, Assistant Manager Cho walked past her with a smirk on her face. Jong Ho went back to grab her laptop and brought it to the manager. As she arrived at the manager's desk, she opened her laptop to take a look. But something was wrong with her computer. A bunch of codes appeared on the screen. She wasn't sure why her computer was acting weird. Assistant Manager Cho acted surprised and asked, "Isn't this a virus? Did you make a backup file?" She did save it in the public folder. It should be on her PC, but her folder was completely empty. She thought it may have gone into the wrong folder. She will search and find it. Ki-hoon helped her search, but there are no files created today. Jong Ho knew for sure. She put it in the public folder and even created a password and wrote it down on the notebook next to the computer. Assistant Manager Cho questioned angrily, "What are you talking about when there's nothing? Aren't you just pretending to back it up?" Ji-hun happened to walk by and heard all the commotion. He asked, "What's going on?" Assistant Manager Cho explained that Jong Ho's laptop has a virus and she didn't back up the data she made. Jong Ho admitted her fault. She will go to the computer and fix it right away. Ki-hoon volunteered to go with, but was cut off by Ji-hun. "Let's go together." In the computer department, the tech told her that the computer seems to have caught a virus. The computer will need to be formatted. Jong Ho stated that she has very important data in it. Can the tech fix it without formatting? The tech said it will take more time to restore the file. He will restore it by next Wednesday. Ji-hun stated, "They need the data urgently. Can't the tech do it sooner?" Of course, when the director asked, the tech couldn't say no. He asked when they need it by. Ji-hun stated, "By today." The tech said he will try. As they left the IT department, Jong Ho has a feeling it won't be restored today. It would be better to recreate it quickly. She told Ji-hun that she will recreate it as she remembers and report back. He agreed it would be better. Can she make it by 6 p.m.? She answered that she will make it by 6 p.m. and report back to him. It's 2 p.m. now, so if she hurries, she won't be able to finish work on time, but she can get there by 7 p.m. Jong Ho went back to her desk and worked as hard as she possibly could. Eventually, she finished it and sent it out. Cha-eun-bae received the final version and criticized that Jong Ho's final version was completely different from the copy she wrote. It's not the same, so it doesn't capture the original feeling. Jong Ho asked if she would please correct the parts that are different from what she remembers and send it to her again by email. Cha-eun-bae stated that she gave the notes to Jong Ho a long time ago. Jong Ho explained that she doesn't have time to look for it right now. If Eun-bae fixes it, she will find the notes later and check how different it is from the current copy. Eun-bae stated she doesn't have time. This is vicarious negligence, so Jong Ho should take responsibility and report it. Jong Ho and manager On Chan-seop met again at the conference to go over the draft. Just as they were about to go in, she received an incoming call. Jong Ho answered it, and it was Princess Yena. She asked if her mommy had gotten off work yet. When is her mommy going home? Jong Ho answered that she hasn't got off work yet. Disappointed, Yena asked why. Jong Ho explained that something came up suddenly. She will finish up quickly and call Yena when she gets off work. Yena compromised and told her mommy to come quickly, since mommy already pinky promised her. Jong Ho chuckled sweetly and said she knows. She'll be there quickly. It'll be over soon. So Yena, wait a little bit more. Ji-hun heard her conversation when he came to the conference room. He saw how happy she looked talking on the phone. During the meeting, Ji-hun gave her inputs regarding the project and its problems. But it would be difficult to come up with a better idea at the moment. The longer the meeting goes on, the more difficult it will be to gather opinions. Ji-hun assigned Jong Ho to redo the draft again today and send it to him about the problem he just said. It shocked Jong Ho. She wanted to ask what he meant. He stated, "Tear it all down and fix it. Redo everything from scratch." Her world came crashing down of the demand. She remembered. She pinky promised her princess to be home early. After the meeting adjourned, she chased after Ji-hun, asking him to tell her which parts needed to be fixed. Ji-hun stated the copy is strange. It doesn't seem sincere at all. She asked which part of the copy exactly seems insincere to him. He told her, all of it. She has to redo it all. She told Ji-hun, she is sorry, but can't she finish it at home and send it to him today? She has some important household chores. Would he be so kind as to excuse her? He asked, what kind of chores? She couldn't tell him the exact reason why. She told him, it's just house chores. He asked her if she is able to do her work properly when she has unspeakable chores. He knew very well that she doesn't even look at her phone when she gets home, so shouldn't she hurry up and get things done right now? Jong-ho begged if she can go out for just 3 hours. No, just 2 hours? She will definitely be back in 2 hours. He pulled his hand away and asked if she was making him wait here for 2 hours. Because of the chores that she refused to even tell him about, she will have to take full responsibility for what she set out to do. He's telling her this because she was in charge of this work. If all else fails, she can call team leader on Chonseop. She can work with team leader on. She was so desperate, wondering who else could help her. She spotted Chai Eun-bae as she rushed back. She had no choice but to ask if Chai Eun-bae could help her finish the proposal. She has something important to do today. She begged quietly for Chai Eun-bae to help her. She will cater to Eun-bae's every whim from now on. So just this once. Chai Eun-bae scolded. What? I'm speechless. Assistant Lee made the mistake. So why are you asking me to fix it? Isn't that too much to ask? Ah, yes. She should have known better. How foolish of her. There is no way Chai Eun-bae would accept such a request. Another colleague who was on the phone told Jong-oh as she passed by, maybe the problem will be solved sooner, if the team leader comes back sooner. Unfortunately, the team leader happened to go on a business trip. Ki-hoon apologized for being unable to help her. He wished he was a copywriter. Depressed and dejected, Jong-oh thanked him for his concern. She sent a text to her mother that something came up and she will be a few hours late. Please take care of Yena. Ji-hun came back and instructed Jong-oh to bring her laptop to the conference room. He will look at it together with her. Chai Eun-bae turned around panicking. What? Is he saying he'll be alone with Lee Jong-oh right now? Jong-oh grabbed her laptop and went to the conference room, unhappily. Ji-hun stated that clearing one's schedule the day before a deadline is a basic rule. When she writes the script, he has to carefully review it and give her instructions to refine it. It's an important proposal. If she doesn't finish it, she doesn't get to go home. Although she said yes, she was angry internally. Jong-oh told her to hurry and aim to finish by 9 o'clock. When it's over, he will drive her home. She pouted, sadly. She knows she has to take responsibility for what she does. But why is she so sad? Tears welled up in her eyes, thinking of their past. At some point, he was someone who listened to everything she said. Now, he has become the kind of person who doesn't bat an eye at a desperate request. She told herself to stop being foolish and admit reality. This man is no longer the Jung Ji-hun from 7 years ago. He's a completely different person. Ji-hun glanced over from his tablet and asked if she was crying. She looked down, allowing her hairs to cover her face, and denied. No, he stated. The pro is crying because she has to work overtime. Jong-oh denied. I'm not crying, and proceeded to type as fast and hard as she could. A smile crept on his face, thinking of earlier. She was so excited even though she caused a serious problem, and now she's crying because she cannot leave work. The only excuse she came up with was chores, and then she wanted to leave for 2 or 3 hours. How could I let you go? While Jong-oh was focusing on her laptop, Jung Ji-hun was focusing on her, and outside of the glass, Chai Eun-bae was focusing on them, brimming with anger. Her face contorted disgustingly. This is ridiculous. How can a person's gaze change like that? Was Jung Ji-hun capable of making such an expression? He has never looked at me like that. Why the hell would he do it to her? Finally, 10 minutes before 9 p.m., Ji-hun told her that's enough. Thank you for your hard work. Pack your bags and come downstairs. I'll drive you home. After some time of waiting for her, but didn't see her coming, he called to ask where she was. He thought she said she was in a hurry to leave. Jong-oh stated that she's outside. He's in front of the elevator and she said she's outside. Jong-oh told him she took the stairs. She was running as fast as she could, not allowing him the chance to catch up to her. He told her he would give her a ride. Jong-oh refused adamantly. I don't want to. Do I have to stay with you until you get home? It's not even working hours. I'll see you tomorrow. She rushed home. When she arrived, it was already 9:30 p.m. The moment she opened that door, Princess Yena rushed to hug her. Mommy. Tears streamed down her face as her emotions bursted. Mommy, why are you so late? I've been waiting for you all along. Zhang, feeling so sorrowful, apologize. Sorry. Let's quickly start the party. Party. Grandma walked over and explained they had the party earlier. She took a video. Do-yoon and Do-bin together with his mom came. They sang songs and ate cake. Princess Yena, still crying out her sorrows, stated she wanted to do with Mommy. Zhang readily agreed to soothe her daughter's broken heart. Then, let's do it again with Mommy. Okay. She went to grab another cake from the store, lit the candles and sang happy birthday to her princess one more time. Yena finally stopped crying, looked at the cake and waited for her mommy to finish singing the birthday song. The three enjoyed the cake and laughed as they watched what Grandma recorded from earlier. Zhang asked, my daughter, did you have fun today? Yes. It was very, very good. I received a lot of gifts and saw Do-bin perform magic tricks and do a dance. In the end, Do-bin did all that he prepared for the 14 years to come. The reason was because Yena cried due to the absence of Mommy. Yena wished it was her birthday every day. Yena finally felt sleepy and wanted to go to sleep. Zhang told her daughter to go to sleep, and she will hold her daughter to sleep. They changed into their pajamas. Zhang kissed her sleepy daughter's forehead. Grandma sat on the edge of the bed and complained. Ai Gu, you cannot even go to sleep? You do that all the time. Is she that pretty? Zhang answered, well, of course. She's my daughter. Gaksun thought how hard she must have worked to get home quickly. My daughter, Li Zhang, I think you are so pretty. The prettiest thing I've ever made. The girl that I gave birth to, but is more precious than my life. I love you just as much as you love your daughter. I pray that your world is warm and safe. May you never face hardships and get hurt. On a side note, who is peeling onions? Why is my eyes watery? Gaksun asked her daughter, if it's hard, just quit. You think I can't take care of you? I'm not the only one. There is our Yena too. Zhang replied. Jihun finally arrived home. He threw the document packet on the table and went to grab a beer can before sitting down on the couch. He grabbed the packet and flipped the first page. On the second page was an illustration of a dinosaur with rainbow scales blowing rainbow fire. There was bold wording over it, Rainbow Boss, I'm calling it a day. He chuckled. She's so fun. He wanted to keep her by his side. As he flipped through the packet more and more, the smile on his face changed. For some reason, what he saw tugged at his heart. He tossed the packet back on the table and got up, walked towards his bedroom while taking his shirt off. In the shower, he felt so bothered, thinking of the packet he left on his table. What's on the page? Read. You who have forgotten me will weep for that which you have forgotten. Why does that feel so unsettling?